Vijay Mallya in a big spat, and to joining us for more perspective on this development on SEBI's intervention in this case, we have with us a special guest. SEBI's former executive director Gupta joins us now right here in the studios with more perspective and what this implies. Mr. Gupta, good to have you on the show. You just heard my colleague Vijay really talk about Vijay Mallya's spat with USL, and in this case SEBI may be stepping in to call for an extraordinary general meeting. Now, is this a regular thing to happen of an EGM being called if a chairman has to be ousted? Because generally the directors who are appointed by the shareholders are the ones who in turn appoint the chairman of the board. So in this case, is it usual or have we seen a precedence of this kind?
See, first of all, I will clarify that SEBI can only issue an advisory or advise the company to call for EGM, because as per the law, the EGM or AGM or any other meeting can only be called by the shareholders, not by anyone, or maybe at the order of the court. So that's the first clarification. Second thing is this, as the provision of the law says, the chairman is one amongst the equals and he is elected by the directors who have been elected to the board. But in India, many a times we have seen resolutions where the resolution is put to appointing the person as a chairman and managing director or chairman as a director. So that means the shareholder have elected that is a chairman director. Now that is where the problem comes, whether if a shareholder has elected a person as a chairman, whether that person can be removed from the position of chairman by the board, it could be a grey area. But certainly the director can be removed only from the shareholder meeting, whether it is EGM or AGM, and resolution has to be moved either by the management or by the shareholders as per the law, and he can be certainly removed.
All right, he can be certainly removed. But in this case, what are the other areas that come under the jurisdiction of SEBI and they can act upon it, because there are various levels of conflict here. One between Vijay Mallya as well as the new owners of USL, where Vijay Mallya is involved in the board of directors. And on the other hand, the conflict of interest coming in case of PwC, which used to be an auditor and now has given this forensic report.
See, there are various things to be seen. First of all, if it was purely a spat between the ex-owner and the current owner, probably SEBI would not have stepped in unless it would have seen that maybe it is going to cause loss to the shareholders. But here it is much, much beyond that. It is for various reasons. One, if you recall, last year USL had written off about close to 4,500 crore as losses because of the deal of White and Mackay when they sold off White and Mackay. And there we have also pointed out that there needs to be some investigation, because for all 7 years in the annual report they were writing that White and Mackay has been performing well. And if the company was performing well for 7 years, how come suddenly it has lost in value? So it has to question those declarations and those disclosures, that probably they were the wrong disclosures, and they should find the trail of the money where that money had gone from USL to various subsidiaries. The second question was relating to the related party transactions, which were signed just prior to takeover by Diageo. The transactions were done in October 2012 and Diageo took over in November 2012. So those transactions must have been brought to the Diageo notice by their team which has done due diligence. So to me it appears that at that time Diageo could have been comfortable, but when the things are coming out of the cupboard of USL, then they are probably finding it difficult or too hot to handle. And thirdly, the ultimately thing is that if the state of affairs in the company accounts have been such, then the whole accounts are put to question whether those accounts were right or wrong. And if you see, last year they had a lot of time, they had taken a lot of time in finalizing the accounts. The conflict of interest thing is very, very important, because you see 2008 crisis, the crux of the crisis was that many times it was a conflict between the rating agency and the company. Now here PwC was auditor for 2009 and 2010, and then it was Grant Thornton, the Walter Chandiok, and then BSR. And if you see BSR's last year's report, they have just fallen short of saying that this accounts could be fraudulent. That is what they have done. So there is it is a fit case where a forensic audit needs to be ordered by SEBI suo moto, and maybe Ministry of Corporate Affairs have to step in and refer the matter to Serious Fraud Office.
So, Mr. Gupta, from whatever I understood from what you said, do you think that the White and McKay case and the irregularities and the fair valuation report on that one and discrepancies in that, is that established, are you saying?
We have not seen this report. So, it's a very nice question, because I think going forward SEBI should say that this report should be put in public domain, because shareholders have every right to know what is there. And with the same logic, I am saying that shareholders should be told what is the secret agreement between Diageo and Vijay Mallya, which makes him the chairman. So, all these things, in my opinion, there is no need for a private treaty or secret agreement between two people when the company is public.
And finally, Mr. Gupta, just very quickly, if all these are established, these irregularities, then what's under SEBI and what actions can they really take?
No, if these things are established, if it is established that there has been fund diversion, if it is established that there has been some sort of a fraud played, then all actions again under SEBI Act and SEBI regulation and under Companies Act can be taken by both the regulators.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.